All right, so today's topic we're going to talk with about customer service, and we have Barbara, who is our uh, lead customer service person at Get Docs Now. We actually we don't call it customer service at our place. We call it client success or customer success because we deal with two different sides. So, but we want about success. So, um, Barbara has been with us for a couple of years, and prior to working with us, she worked with huge national um, telecommunications companies, and so she brings a kind of a variety and different backgrounds. So, Barbara, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So, give us some ideas of like different types of customer service. Like we see like phone and chat and things like that. What are some of the types of customer service that you see that are popular out there?
So, a really popular customer service type is going to be chat right now because a lot of people want to just have service at their fingertips instead of calling because sometimes it takes more time to get someone on the phone and call. But sometimes a simple call is something that can help you get to your resolution very quickly as well.
Okay.
So, I would say the main types would be chat and phone calls.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's interesting because since we've been around for over 20 years, chat wasn't a thing 20 years ago, right? And so we would pride ourselves on, hey, we answer the phone when you call, and that was our big thing. We had their phone number on the top of the screen and all that for many years, and till recently actually. And I think we found that that's why, right? Because more people want the chat than the actual phone calls anymore.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Because you're always on the move. So it's easy to just type it in something and
Yeah.
getting a response versus having to wait and possibly wasted time just waiting for someone to even answer your question, and just
Okay.
have an idle phone to your ear.
So do you think most of the chats that you get are you're able to handle them in, one or two responses?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Is there a way
Yes.
for people to get answers even before they get to you, possibly?
Yes. If there's like a FAQ section, then some people do take the time to read the FAQ before they reach out just to see, like, hey, let me see if I can find this on my own
Right.
before I try to seek assistance.
That's always nice.
Yeah. I looked at this the other day. Joe and I talked about this about 2 weeks ago. Like, what are the percentages of calls that we get per orders? And I think our call, like our customer service to order ratio is just under like around 5%. Um, and so, what would you say that when you get those calls? What are the concerns that people have, or the questions that they have?
The main two concerns is to see the status of the order. So
Okay.
to see how soon it's going to be completed or if it can be completed sooner than the due date, or if they have a question about a specific form that they need filled out. They're trying to see, hey, I didn't see this as an option on the site currently. So how do I go about getting this filled out? Or what's something similar that I can get filled out to what I have?
Okay. Well, and that's a whole nother topic that I would love to talk with you about. Again, Joe and I have talked about lender questionnaires a couple times
Mhm.
already, and we've written articles on it, and it's kind of the hot topic. So we'd love to go further into that another day. But as far as the status, don't we have that ability? Like, can't they find out the status just by going to the website and looking at the status?
That is correct, but they want something particular. Like, is it going to be done by 5 o'clock or is it going to be done by 9 o'clock in the morning? That's what their main question is for the status.
Wow.
Mhm.
So they're just being really particular.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I know with and with your other companies that you worked with in the past, what were the types of customer service you were doing there? Was it phone, chats, emails?
It was more so phone and
Okay.
email.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you based on your experience, which one do you think is more effective for taking care of people? Sounds like
It,
chat.
I would say chat, but it just depends on the person because there are some that are not into technology. So
Okay.
sometimes a chat is more difficult for them and they prefer a phone call. So it just depends on the person you're servicing.
Would
Yeah.
you say that a bunch of them are easy fixes? I forgot a password, or help me, a document is missing, I think, I'm not sure. So you're helping them with nothing major, really. Just
Correct.
things normal things they might miss. Okay. Yeah.
Correct. Or confirmation, just to make sure they have the correct understanding of how the process works.
Kind of hand holding.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're good
Jill,
at
this
that.
this reminded me of that time a few years back. You remember when we had a guy doing customer service here, and he actually was on the phone with someone for over an hour, helping them, walking them through placing an order. And it was crazy. So the funny thing about that was when that happened, we had another customer service person that was here at that time that when I remember when she first started, and I said, "Hey, when you get a phone call, just get as much information as you can, and then plan on calling them back." And she said to me, "No, I want one touch resolution." And I was like, "Wow!" And so she was like, really like, I want to take care of them, but I want to do it quickly. And at the same time, we have this other guy who's spending an hour talking to someone. So I think that kind of speaks to a certain level of customer service, right? Where you got to understand the needs of the person that you're talking with. So have you what kind of levels of customer service do you see? Like from good to bad, the ugly? I mean, I know what our standards are, but from other, I mean, even in your personal experience as a consumer, can you talk about like different levels of customer service experience that you've seen?
Yes, I can. So the main type I usually see is they just barely meet the expectation. Like, let me just tell you what you need to know and get you out of my face versus actually exceeding the expectations. Like, wow, I'm actually educating you and getting you what you need and setting you up for future success as well. To where you feel like I actually have something personalized.
Yeah.
I like personalized customer service. I don't want to feel rushed. I don't want to feel like I'm bothering you. I want you to actually feel happy with helping me. So that's the type of customer service that I try to provide as well. Is I want you to know I'm here for you. I want to help you, and let's get this figured out together.
Yeah.
Instead of just meeting the expectation, like, let me just tell you what you need to know and get you out of my face. I don't like that.
I think, our goal is that
Just the number.
yeah, exactly. You're not just the number. Our goal is that every experience ends with someone saying thank you.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And they have a smile, whether they got what they wanted or not. When we explain things to them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's great. That's kind of what we look for. I love getting those emails about Barbara was wonderful, or she was so helpful today or whatever. If it was up to some of our clients, you'd be making $1 million a year because that's how valuable you are to them. And then you're not quite there yet, but we're working towards that. Uh, so, what would you say, compared to? I know that you work with a lot of title companies, and they'll give you their opinions of other companies that do what we do, right? What we call them our competitors. What would you say is kind of some of the comparisons, without being too ugly? What are some of the kind of comparisons that you hear from them?
They get what they want. So if they request it, they get exactly what they want.
Okay.
Versus being told no. A lot of title companies aren't used to being told no.
Okay.
So they accept it, and it's not anything that's a rift in their process, but they're just used to always getting what they want.
So when you say title companies aren't used to being told no, are you saying from us they're not used to being told no?
From anybody.
From
Right.
anybody.
Okay. So why would we tell a title company no?
So we would tell a title company no for getting something completed as soon as possible. So for example, if they weren't on their P's and Q's and they did something late, they were supposed to have an order in 5 days prior and they dropped the ball on it and they just submitted it today. I'm like, hey, can you just shave 5 days off of this? It's kind of like, no, we cannot, because we can't have you take precedence over our clients that did have their process going and on the ball.
So
Okay.
no special treatment, no to special treatment.
Correct.
They're not above everyone else, basically.
Correct.
And they may not like to know that.
Correct.
Yeah. So when we do that, are we doing it just because we want to be mean or greedy? Are we
No.
doing it to protect our clients? Why would we do that?
So we have to protect our clients. You know, we can't have them bombarded. There's a reason why there's certain processes and procedures in place in the first place. So it's more so to protect our clients and help them save their time and use their time efficiently and not just be all over the place.
Not
Yeah.
only that, they are bound by regulatory laws that are
Mhm.
telling them to do things at a certain way, in a certain way, at a certain time, and no one should disrupt their being told what to do by someone higher than a title company. My opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, our customer service is a little, our industry is a little bit unique. I think from other industries because we are literally the middleman, right? We're the person between the management company and the dock buyer. So we have that's why we call it customer success, which is dock buyer, and client success, which is management company side. So how hard is that hard for you to balance those two different types?
No, not necessarily. It just depends on the influx of how many I'm getting contacted by.
Okay.
Okay, so if it's like a busy season where everyone is selling their homes, everyone's placing their orders, then it's not extremely difficult. It's just making sure I have a system in place to touch base with each customer and make sure it's resolved in a certain time matter or
Mhm.
certain time limit versus just looking at it like, oh my goodness, I have a lot of, people to contact.
So let me that brings up a good question is if you can't resolve something immediately in that moment, what would you say is kind of your average time for resolving a customer issue or question?
If it's something within my reach, I try to have it done within like 30 minutes to an hour. If
Okay.
not, if I can't get it done immediately.
Okay.
But if not, I try to have it resolved with it by the end of the day.
Okay.
That's like the absolute end time frame is by the end of the day.
So when you say in your power, in your control, or not, can you give me an example of something that would be not in your control?
Not in my control.
Yeah.
If it requires more input, like from the management company,
Yeah.
that's something that's not within my control.
Okay.
I have to wait to be contacted back by the management company. But if it's something within my control, like adding a document or making sure they have all the files that they need, I can get that done immediately.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I go ahead. Do you have something? You have something? Looks like
I
you
was
have
just going
something
to say,
there.
do you have a way, I would imagine at certain times during a month, and you mentioned busy times during a year, do you get bombarded at times, and do you have your own personal triage, or, we haven't really come in, I don't know what J. Brad may have done with you, but you must have a way that you deal with hierarchy of that's really a bad thing, I'll let that wait. I mean, do you have just an instinct now, or how does
Yes,
that work for you?
it's more of an instinct. I feel like our clients are my first priority. So I always have a hierarchy. It's my clients, and then I will do the doc buyers are the next ones because they're the main ones that need the service. They're the ones that keep everything going, basically. And then I'll go to, if it's the lenders or the title company. So it's more of a second instinct at this point of how I organize and mandate who is taken care of first if I have a high influx of.
So how about each one of those individual? Now, is there a hierarchy of issue problems that I would think more end user is what I'm talking about. So they want their document, they're not getting it. It's a high traffic time. And now you're bombarded with, in a small period of time, you get a lot of calls. Are you able to triage, kind of put them in order of this is really important? I would imagine you do something like that too, if you also treat the clients, and I agree with how you treat the clients. So
yes,
you do that. Okay. Was that something that's instinctual or something that came from your past experience, or this job has kind of sharpened that axe for you?
this job has actually sharpened
Okay.
that act for me.
Good to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everything in this job is kind of almost exclusive, right, to this type of job because what we do is so different than most other industries. It's really a weird spot, and as I've taken many, I've been in the client success business for this, with this company for a long time. And, I take calls and I jump on the chats and the emails sometimes. I want to kind of keep my thumb on the pulse of what's happening out there. And just for people that are watching or pay attention to this, we take this very seriously. We always have. We think that this really is our business. Yeah, we're in the document business, but really customer service is the most important thing. And so you guys know, every customer service email gets viewed by everyone you're seeing on the screen right now. We see them, we review them, we talk about them when we need to. Even though we're interviewing Barbara about this, it's not something that's foreign to us by any means.
It's really been a great indicator of how the site is doing. If there's a problem at all, you start getting certain types of calls. So I think that's why we are really involved, because you handle the calls very well. And so, it's not about monitoring how you're doing. It's more like, well, what indications or what things are happening with the site that we're not noticing, in our face. So.
Yeah,
really
absolutely. And I mean, Joe, for you talking about how the site's running, I mean, you've been doing this, you've been in GetDocs now as you started 23 years ago. So, you've been doing this a long time. And some
that comes out of need, monitoring those, or it comes out of like learning your lesson early.
Yeah. I've heard many stories from you about when you were taking customer service calls back in let's say before 2010.
Yeah, we had phones back then. I think they might have been the rotary dial. I'm not sure.
So yeah, I mean, it's fun for us. It's good for us to talk with Barbara and kind of see what's going on in today's world and how it's affecting our business. Our intention here isn't just to talk about how great we are, but also to share some of the ideas that we have with management companies or other people. I mean, maybe not in the HOA industry. So Barbara, do you have any suggestions that you would say that if, like, to a business owner, some things that they should consider or would want to consider with their own customer service department?
Just make sure with your customer service department, everyone gets the VIP treatment. That's what keeps people coming back, is that VIP treatment and feeling like they're not just a number, that they are somebody and that they are cared for and want to keep their business coming.
Yeah, that's great. And that's, I love how you said that because, when you say not just a number, that's one of our, we bring this up and, I've said it many times. People call us and say, oh, when I called your competitor, I was caller, on hold, caller number 19. That's not how we treat people. That's not it. And I always said, I mentioned earlier, we want them to feel like you're fulfilled. You got your question answered. You're happy. You're saying thank you, even if you didn't get what you wanted. You feel that way. And that's, I think for us, that's important that our clients and our clients know that, right? But our prospective clients don't know that yet. But our clients know it because if we handle their customer service calls, right? So, that's great. Joe, anything else you wanted to wrap up with?
Not really. I think we did a fantastic job here with Barbara.
Yeah.
Just doing
all right, Barbara. Well,
job.
thanks, Barbara, for spending a few minutes with us and giving us your insight on customer service.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.